Hello everyone, we are playing with the Gauntlet for the Climax or for Legacy Second Edition game. The Gauntlet is a gaming community that you can find more about on the links below this video. Uh, and we're going to be subject to the Gauntlet exclusivity policy. We have the X card and script change in play, and we also have uh, lines and veils established. We get back to the homelands and go a little beyond the horizon. We see a massive underground city with artificial sunlight permeating in between, uh, and dust and debris dances under the light as it becomes obvious that the settlement has been abandoned. There is the loud noise of drilling machines, massive drills, some of them that have not seen in the world in ages. A behemoth of the sandstorm collapses the part of the ceiling, and hundreds of troops flood into the settlement. We see three of the characters standing around the debris. And as they go around, we focus on Marshros and what do they see on the fallen city of the Zoomers that convinces them that the Zoomers have not only managed cultural achievements that rival what was said to exist before the fall, but that they went beyond in their own way.
So I think apart from just the obvious technology needed for the city, Marshars notices just an aesthetic quality to the structures, the architecture. There's a style here that's much more than a surviving. Some of those of us who are just surviving, have built. There's almost an artistry to not just the buildings themselves, but to the layout, um, as if they have their own purpose.
Next, we see Scanner used to ruins, not so used to making one themselves. And what Scanner finds when they load the charges and blow into what is they supposed to be the command center of the Boomer settlement. The control the controls stay there ready to activate, but what is the terrifying, devastating weapon that they found the Zoomers had prepared against you, but never had the chance or the will to use against you?
Mhm. What could be interesting? What do we have now, for example? Mm, uh, I want to say that because they are known to have some flying vehicles. I imagine like helicopters or something like this. We find that they have the like a full-sized helicarrier like a carrier, but like on anti-grav engines, and it's like full of like more of their flying machines with all the armaments for it. If this thing was launched against our homeland, we probably wouldn't stand a chance because it also has the guns pointed down on the grounds just like a giant Hoover helicarrier.
And alongside the two leaders of the two most powerful families of the homelands stands a second in command. So, Kieran, why don't you introduce us to the other character in the scene?
Hi. This would be Mercy. Mercy is like half lieutenant, half bodyguard. Is one of essentially he's around, and his kind of fundamental driving nature is please let me get shot over anybody else. He's somebody who's kind of driven by that kind of thing. So he's always there, very, very intense. The helmet has got a series of like marks scratched off as he's gone through a variety of positions. But he looks intently, always a few steps behind Scanner. Just we have to get through this.
So you have a city that fell without fighting. Cannot find any signal of the Zoomers anywhere. And the dust lingering around makes you wonder how long they have evacuated and where to. What do you do on this ghost town full of wonders?
Well, now that it's hard to say that we have taken over the settlement. It seems quite that long before we came here. That's actually the first time we have something of theirs rather than have them creep in the shadows on us. So maybe let's take a half a day slowly and just like look around. Let's learn who our adversary is, because hopefully at some part in my heart, I hope that maybe we can find some more peaceful solution and an all-out war. So let's spread out. Let's look for something. What do you think, Marshals and Mercy?
I think I'm not going without 2 steps away from you here. This place is really very bad. Every single sense of my body says this is not good, sir.
I'm glad to have you with me, Mercy. This place seems to be giving me creeps. Marshals?
Well, I like that building, and I just start walking towards it.
Mercy's head's almost exploding, sort of running after desperately.
Okay, so why don't Mushrooms give me a Forger pet? So rolling plus force.
I got a 9. Unless I were to have some assistance finding my way into the building safely.
If I know what we are up to, then I could say something, but I have no idea what we are up to.
Well, you're traveling towards the building. So that's pretty much what you are. So anything that makes the voyage safer and keeps the perimeter safer, who knows how these Zoomer towns are like.
Yeah, sure. I think Scanner is like he generally looks around curiously, but because he's taking in all of those new things he's also on alert.
Okay, so you two have backstory, right?
Nope, we never made backstories with the character who stayed in a homeland.
Okay, so well, makes sense. So you gonna roll with suggestions? What might be appropriate?
I forgot for what the stats stand for.
Well, there's lend aid, so
Yeah, but land aid, you need call for aid. You need to roll with any stat. Well, let's go with steel.
Yeah, I wanted to check what the stat stands for. Yeah, perfect. I mean, let's hope it goes well. Oh yeah, it's a 12.
Oh yeah, for
Wow.
sure. So you upgrade that to a 10. So you only pick one of the options for the pet.
there are so many freaking moves. I just want to say that again. Forge a path. Where is that? Why am I not finding it?
It's a peripheral character move.
Oh, I'm on the family moves. Well, that's stupid, Scott. All right. It is missing off my printout. So what are my options if you could just read them out loud?
I just copied them. So you are exposed to danger as you travel. The route you took is lost. You cannot take gear, other characters with you. You take a lot longer than you expected.
So let's take a lot longer. And so we wait, I only have to pick one. You're exposed to. Ooh, danger's always nice. Let's have danger.
Okay. As you make your way towards the building, it seems to be quite an interesting building. The elegant architecture that you have seen initially, it's even more dedicated here, and the entry hall is just majestic, and you have this massive holographic fountain that dances as it seems to be some type of octopus-like creature playing with what seems to be a vulpine whale-like being. And it seems that this is clearly one of the important buildings of the city. And you realize what this building was used for, Mercy. And why is that something that makes it inherently dangerous?
I mean, I've just recognised. Of course, I'm a bodyguard, and of course, being a bodyguard, there's two sorts of bodyguards: the ones who haven't been in the job long enough, and there's the sort who've actually lost a lot of people. You know, it doesn't, by definition. I've seen people die, so I've seen a lot of people being took apart, and basically, I have tried many times, and occasionally I've got away from these things, and occasionally I've just seen my friends torn apart, and it's like, no, this is definitely not safe to be here. I don't think I've got, with the three of us here, I don't think I've got the weaponry to deal with this thing. Would that be enough?
But what function do you get this nice instinct of danger? Yes, but what did this building serve for?
All right.
Because you realize that through your good sense of danger, realize what the purpose of this building was.
I miss things like the purpose of this building was originally to grow these things, I guess. Would that make sense? It's grow these things, and now they're sort of and I've finally found the source of them, I guess. Would that make sense?
Yeah. you realize that you are on a nursery, and whatever the Zoomers are, they were grown here.
Mm.
And you know that the living, active Zoomers are not here, but whatever they are, wherever they were born, this building makes them. And you are conscious that if you're going to go further ahead, you risk finding out exactly how they are made.
So I sort of speak to them. This is a hatchery. Wherever they're from, this is from here. And I must admit, this is kind of against every single thing I'm for, because my job is keeping you guys safe. But if we need to know the truth, it's down there, and it's mainly covered in tentacles. And frankly, it scares the hell out of me.
Well, as much as I agree with you that it is dangerous, we have to learn who our enemy is. They attacked us before, and I don't think they will stop, so we have to proceed slowly.
Do we think that there's any young in this hatchery now, or would they have protected their hatchlings?
I think that would be pretty much inevitable. That laughter is really nervous.
Let me take a look at the plan of the building. I haven't seen those in ages, only in a very old ruins that they seem to have like a floor plan over here. Let me study it, and maybe I will find a way to get us there safely. And I would like to trigger my architectural eye. When I take some time to plan out the exploration of a new ruin, I roll plus steel.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's a fat 6.
Ooh.
Anyone wants to help?
I can help with the aid roll, can't I? As in, if I've got a relationship with them, is that right?
You can always help. You only get advantage on the roll if you have a background.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
And in case if you want to decide, I'm going to say that this is going to be help with lore. Because, while Scanner is using his instincts, anyone else would actually have to deduce and do some thinking.
Fortunately, Mercenary hasn't spent a lot of time reading, so I imagine Mercy's just spending looking around with what their firearm they have. So it'd be absolutely no help at all. Sorry, boss.
And marshals?
I'll go ahead and help. Just blind.
Okay, plus lore then, plus 1.
8.
Okay, 8. So you're gonna share the consequences, but you put up that to 7-9.
Yep.
Okay, Pavel, go ahead with Scanner.
I just hold 2, and while we explore the ruin, I can spend the hold for substitute stats or identify and track danger, or find a way to use it as a weapon. So it's like a hold move.
Okay, so just point out if you want to use anything.
Well, since we already established that there is some danger over here, Mercy is, how do you say it? There was a nice phrase for it, that you are that you are always so stressed out. I forgot it.
Mercy sweats a lot, if you want me. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's use one of those hold to say identify and track danger with the ruin. It's hard for me to say whether we see it through the floor or somehow, but maybe we find some kind of like a tracker. Yeah. Oh my god, let's go alien style. We find like a motion tracker, or I take out a motion tracker and we see that it's like bang, 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 bang.
Okay, so I'm gonna say on the preparation to the invasion, you used your scraphead ingenuity. But before we resolve that, exactly what your device does, we're gonna resolve visionary archaeologist. So now that you are exploring these, Marshros, roll plus lore on your playbook move.
Scott, you're muted.
What did you get on the lore?
So I got a 10. I'm pulling up the sheet now. Couldn't find my
So, yeah.
outsider sheet.
Yeah, so you have 2 questions. So, what its power source and how it can be removed? What was these made for? And what happened since it stopped performing its function? How is this broken and how I can repair it?
Yeah, so let's see. I think I can determine. I'll determine the. So I get 2 of those. So I'm going to do the power source and the repair, and I'm going to link them. So the I determine where the power source is, and that it's something that they it's almost like a advanced battery like device, so it can be removed as needed for repair. And I discovered that the pack inside the power source, as I remove it, has gone faulty, and it's something that can be repaired, and then the facility would, or this part of the facility would begin working again. I just need to spend some time working on it.
Yeah, indeed. So back to Skinner. What is the nice apparatus that you have with you?
I was actually picking an option from the architectural eye rather than scraps of ingenuity. There is an option to identify and track a danger within the ruin, and so I figured out that maybe on one of the desks in this or at the entrance to this place that they had some kind of device that allows us to track this apparently hatchling or whatever. So I'm not thinking unless you want to really trigger scrap of ingenuity, we can give it some
No, that's for sure architectural AI.
Yeah.
But you had time to use the scraphead ingenuity.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make the picks that you have in addition to that. So you find the sensor and you can see something moving on the 3rd floor. And you can sense it that the movements become faster and it seems to be gaining increased biomass at every passing minute.
Well, Mercy, whatever it is, it knows we are here, so we better tackle it before it tackles us.
Affirmative. What other choice do we have?
Part of me wants to say that probably what Scanner has with himself, we see like a massive C4 charge. So I'm going to pick an option, destroy whatever it's attached to. From my scrap of ingenuity, homemade explosives. What can go wrong?
Okay, that sounds very good. So, what does any of you want to do before engaging with this thing?
I just imagine Mercy looking over the explosives, and my job is a bodyguard and keeping you safe away from harm. And that thing should not be by you. But so we've got to commit the mission as quickly as possible to get the explosives away from you, is my only thought. And then immediately check, do I have enough ammunition?
We need to make sure that they truly mean us harm before we just blow them up, though.
Oh, that's just last resort.
Okay, because I'm still struck from it wasn't your fault, but you remember the diplomatic incident.
Yeah. Sure. Let's go to the third floor. Let's try to assess what are we dealing with. So I suppose we would go to a staircase and floor by floor starts to making our way up toward the third floor. And since we are already underground, let's make it like three floors down rather than up. It just makes more sense.
Yeah, and as you start to enter the third floor, you see tank of things that being grown and something that are more built. You see all these different bodies, sleeves even, ready to take something in. And you see a big tank and you see it empty. And you track movement in the shadows of it, and you see something massive and something whitish, and you hear a recording play, a recording of hands clapping.
Is the recording coming from like the general speakers? Is the recording coming from the thing where we like track it?
It's coming from the speakers on the walls.
I'm getting the feeling they're not actually appreciative of us here.
Yeah, they knew we were coming, so I don't know. Mercy, what do you think? Is the sound to trigger the beast to be aggressive, or is it actually calming it down?
I think it's very hard to tell. I would assume that this. How dead do I think this? I mean, this place just has every single part of my brain screaming trap, and it has always had all along. And that's the kind of. I'm in the place of I cannot actually trust my instincts. All I can do is actually try to get you out of here. And we can either do that by going forward or going back, and either is good with me. Sweating again. I think that someone is definitely wants us here, and you're the two most powerful men in the entire place, and without you, the land's doomed.
Yeah, I hand you the scanner to track the thing, and then just say, just keep an eye on this. I need to inspect this tube, and scanner comes to the tube and tries to maybe take some kind of a sheet of some console and tries to figure out what was it in for. Maybe there's a display showing something. Any chance to trigger unearth forgotten lore over here?
Yeah, go ahead with that. Or unleash power. I think both are fine depending on what you accomplish. If you want to learn more or if you want to use it.
In my mind, we should always learn what the thing does before we use it. So I'm totally going for unearthing forgotten lore over here.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, the dice are with me. It's 12. So get one data. And let's flesh this thing more a little bit. So first off, is that a wonder or a horror? What's the label on the console? Is it like an ultimate weapon or something?
It's not a weapon. you are used from both the venue and the Haddock. Pretty much everyone in the homelands grew used to genome sequencers and to bio-containment protocols and whatnot. And you kind of see similarities, but as you go further and further, you see that it's less actual protocols and annotations of molecular engineering, but these seem to be like artist commentaries, notes from criticals, historical analyses, a lot of different frameworks in which the work of art is to be appraised. It seems that whatever is inside this tank is considered by this culture as an artistic achievement first and foremost, rather than the product of some engineering or a tool or something even as crude as a weapon.
Okay. My next question would be, how can I turn this to my advantage? But we can also jump to some other player to see some action if you want.
Well, let's see the reactions of the others to this realization.
Yeah, this seems to be like an artistic thing. At least the creators thought of it as an artistic thing.
This is not in any way comforting. As in, like, I've seen what things have done to people enough to know that whatever their art is kind of the opposite of how I see art. Art is like a nice song. It's not an enormous creature that's out there and about to probably eat us again. But at the same time, you're the boss. I'm literally standing there, like, whatever weapons I've got, get trained in worrying to keep these, because you guys are infinitely smarter than I am. So I kind of figure they must know best. Because if they don't know best, we're all doomed anyway.
Mushrooms?
It's beautiful. It can't also be dangerous. Why would anybody create something beautiful and dangerous?
Well, you know the Hadik, the recent breed of their battle dogs. They are beautiful, but they can like tear your a leg off with just like one bite. So,
well, yes, but yeah, that's a fair point.
that's a comment on the family that is currently not present here, but they are like breeding things.
Yeah, one can easily see the opinion that the Haddock will have on the Zoomers because when you're here. Okay, so your second question.
How can I turn that to my advantage?
Well, if it's something valuable, if it's something artistic, it's fair to say that it's both worthless and without worth. So it might even be unique. So if you threaten to damage it in some way or compromise it in some way or steal it in some way, those that see it as a piece of art might be reluctant to put it in danger.
I'm thinking, are you talking still? Can you rephrase it, please?
Basically, the idea is if it's for them, it's something like the Mona Lisa, and they would be a bit worried if you are taking a knife to it, or if you are threatening to take it with you.
Okay. Yeah, I look at Mercy and I say, keep your gun holster. I'm going to approach this thing and try to communicate with it. Like, just put it back. Yeah.
You're making my life very difficult. But
I
lower
know.
the gun. Try
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong here?
Yeah, gun lowered, but in that kind of like way that might come up any second again.
Yeah, I'm probably like going to take some kind of like a ration out and just like approach whenever the thing is like on the motion tracker. Just like put like the food ration on the floor. Can we like actually see it, or it's still hiding in the shadows? Am I like just showing this to some black thing hiding in the wall? Ludo?
Huh?
Can we actually see this thing or not?
You start to hear the tapping on glass, and you start to see one white tentacle, two white tentacles, three white tentacles.
Is it still in the tank?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's stretching the tentacles between the different tanks.
Okay. Yeah. I suppose. Oh my god, it's huge. It's going to be so awesome. Yeah, I probably like take few more food rations and like put them on the floor and just like eat one of them. That's just like a little bit to show that it is like not dangerous. And I like sit down on the floor and I just calmly try to talk like, hello there. We are peaceful visitors. We are exploring this place. I know it must be threatening to you that we, who you don't know, are here and you have been obviously freshly born. We are not here to harm you. Please come and let's have a civil conversation over here.
And you hear a looping laughter. How delightful! Tell me, do all of your kind take your meals on the floor? How wonderfully decadent!
Well, if you happen to have some plates over here, we have some more food we can eat in a civilized manner.
Why don't you press on the third tank from the bottom row? Why don't you activate it if you need some plates?
Yeah, I guess I'm going to go and do that. And
So let me do that. Let me, I think that's probably my part of the bodyguard plate fetching duties.
Of course.
So I slowly inch towards the machine, eyes on the tentacles all the way, and reach down and press the button.
Okay, so why don't you unleash power?
Oh god!
And you get the feeling that there is some kind of living being that's going to grow if you activate that tank.
Cool. Right, 2d6 plus law, which is at -1. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, I've never used the actual system before. Did I roll an 8 and so it's -7?
Yes.
Cool, so I'm on a 7.
Oh, good. So you get to pick 2.
Cool. I would say the device does exactly what I wanted, but I don't. And I'll choose you don't rouse the other device in the area. So in other words, the other two, by implication, hit me.
Okay, so you press the button and you do something that was not exactly the safest protocol, and the tank opens before it's ready, and you get a lungful of whatever was inside of the tank, and you see what seems to be like first you have some crystals growing in a spiral, and then you can see some moss-like thing growing on top of the crystal, and it decays at high speed until it blooms on some plant with very wide leaves, and one by one the leaves pop and fold into large hardened circular plates. Oh yes, the Benoit collection is always such delightful wonders. Please, make use of them. I'm afraid that your careless touch, I'm sure that nobody else will have to be able to appreciate such delights. Poor thing, I'm afraid it's dead.
Oh dear. I'm backing away. Basically, I've gone into simultaneously servant mode, so I'm collecting the plates, but also looking at this machine. I've just sort of like, I'm not as pro for a guy covered in guns and armor. I'm less pro killing than you might think. So it's you should have brought like there's a kind of moment of panic, and I was like, there should have been another technician. I'm so sorry, sir.
So, how is the fast growing mixtures of hormones and nanomachines that you just breathed? What is it doing to you?
I would say basically the extremities of my skin, they're sort of like tiny little white tentacles are growing out of me. Is that okay? Yeah, as in it's sort of like there's a surface, it's like a fractal level, like they've got these enormous white tentacles we've been hinted at, and tiny fractal tentacles are kind of coming off where I got hit by the nanodose.
Yeah, you have the thousands of microphilia and nanophilia all wrapped up, but you don't know what that. So far, it's not going to have any ill effect, but it's certainly uncomfortable.
Yeah, it sort of changed my look in the bar, that kind of way.
Yeah. So, what do you do now that you have plates?
As in actual plates, yeah, as well. I kind of like I've got to put my gun over my shoulder, sort of, and then balance the plates over and bring them. Your plates, sir. I say to Scout.
Oh, thank you, Mercy. Don't worry about these things. We'll remove them when we get back to the trucks.
We're not that bad, sir.
Stay calm for now. Marshals, care to join us? Let's move this table over here. Let's put some food on the tables, and yeah, we kindly invite you. And I'd like direct this to the room. Come and have a talk with us. We came to talk over here.
So the creature shows itself. It's 10 foot wide, and that's before you account for the 10 white tentacles. And it has two heads that they are the heads of that they seem to be akin to some massive albino wolves, and one of the heads seem to be quiet and eyes closed, while the other studies you with unusual intelligence. Welcome to our lands. You are into the commune of the clan Bevetors. I guess I must welcome you, even if you have not been the most delightful of the guests, but you have been some of the most interesting that we ever had.
Thank you.
Are you the representative of your people, those who lived here in this town?
We don't have need for representatives, but you'll say that by the very feature that I was the only one with the curiosity to throw my conscience behind, you can say that I'm that. Yes. You can say I'm the closest my clan has to a speaker.
That's good. We would like to get some things first off our chests. And why did your people attack us in the first place, sending this wave of dangerous mosquitoes to our land?
Oh, mosquitoes. How vulgar. Do you happen to have some sample with you?
I don't know, Marshals. Do we?
Well, obviously, I have the drawings that we took of them with us in case we needed to identify similar ones. I can show that to you.
Oh, why don't you come with me to the second floor? I need you to see something and confirm if they are what your people been subjected to.
Okay, that sounds fine. I'm done eating for today.
So
Yeah, let's go.
okay, they disappear into the shadows between the tanks, and you can hear the soft clanging as they move up and down, leaving you alone to make your way to the second floor. What do you do?
As they make the decision, I'm collecting the plates and putting them in a neat pile and putting them to one side.
Do you think we could take this up to the second floor?
I mean, you came from that way because
Yeah.
Paul will describe it that it's counting on reverse.
Yeah, we are third floor underground, so we just need to go one floor up. Yeah, let's go. If we can learn any input as to why they are attacking us and what do they want, that's even the better. And that is like casually look at the motion tracker that is hanging from Mercy, just to know that we still have a read on this thing. Yeah, let's go.
So you can hear the tapping as you can hear the easing of nitrogen against the warmer air. And you see a massive uh, glass-like platform advancing towards the balcony in which you are, and the being stands over and scratches away with the tentacles, wiping the glass-like plastic, and reveals what might be thousands of different mosquitoes and mosquito-like creatures that are preserved and exposed as you hold jewels and rings on a jewelry. And then he turns to you and asks, perhaps can you identify if it's one of these vintage items?
Yeah, I'm going to do some comparison and look at them. And they look the same to me. What about you, Mercy and Scanner?
Please repeat the question.
They look the same to me. These are the ones that attacked the homeland.
I'm sorry, I wasn't in Homeland for some time, so I'm relying on you for the identification of those things.
I spent more time looking at the injuries. That was there was a lot, not many complete corpses. This is very much more your area. I was much more in the splatting of them.
And I'm just going to investigate them and see if they're the same, Ludo.
Okay, so do an unearthed and forgotten lore.
All right. And my lore. So 10.
Okay, so you get one data and you get to ask 3 questions.
How can I turn it to my advantage?
As you go through them, you realize that all of these, they have been very precisely designed to target specific people, and more important, not only they have this very high specificity, they have a quite variety of effects, and you realize that the reason why things were not advancing when you were trying to combat the mosquitoes is that what was killing everyone was not the mosquitoes. It was the virus that each of them has been engineered and loaded with, and that the Zoomers have such a delicate control over them that they can use them and the mosquitoes as a massive vector to inflict a population-wide genetic modification. And that if you are to be creative and spend the time with these thousands of offerings, you are sure you're going to find whatever you need for the purpose you desire.
This is an amazing find. This is so great. Why? I can't even tell you guys.
Find this old thing.
Yeah, we have nothing like this.
Perhaps it's fitting.
So did this come from here?
Come from here. This was designed. This is the Fabrizi collection of retrovirus is an antiquity. It's been on. Well, it's actually here as a donation from Clan Novorus. They probably, this is what they did 500 years ago. They probably have much more advanced stuff.
And where is that clan?
Now, why would I tell you that? After seeing the mess which you have left in the home of my own clan.
Well, we could clean it up.
Ah, how delightful. Perhaps there is hope for you.
Guys, I think we're only here at this being's pleasure.
We are all here at each other's pleasure. Well, do you not say, Scanner?
Well, hard to say about this. So, kind of back to the original question: why have your clan unleashed this ancient relic on our people?
Oh, 1,000 pardons. I must have distracted you from your studies. Please continue. See if it's among this collection, the item that you say because it use such melodies. So you still have 2 questions.
Mushrooms?
I'm going to unmute myself so you can actually hear me. So I'll take, is it a wonder or a horror? But I guess what I'm really after is there a way to use this for more beneficial methods for us? And then and I don't mean us for the Bennu, but those of us in the homeland.
Well, I would say it's more of an order, because even if you use it for beneficial purpose, it's still pretty horrifying. I mean, people are going to be bitten by mosquitoes and then infected with this retrovirus and then slowly suffer whatever is programmed within. Even if you are going to engineer some beneficial traits, it's still going to be pretty horrifying. I think there's no way to pad that. And it seems that even the clan Novus that designer those seems to think that way, because these are not definitely treated with the reverence that the other tank was. These are labeled like tools, like weapons. But yeah, if you think on the wide scale, there are beneficial uses for this, for sure. But I mean, just mass inoculating people, maybe treating even the adverse effects of radiation, making some zones open for the exploration, it's still pretty horrifying.
And I think the final question would be, where is it drawing power? Although I guess in this case, it's how to, produce these or whatever.
Yeah, that is the nasty and maybe the most horrifying thing, is that it draws all the power from the host. And a lot of the hosts, if they are not able to handle this, they might even die, or at least face chronic disease, coma, and if they cannot, death. It takes quite a lot to change an organism to the degrees of some of these do. And unless one is in proper conditions, which unfortunately on the scarcity ridden second age is not many individuals, one is very likely to suffer secondary effects as it tries to feed the transformation. And you find a mosquito that seems very similar to what has been tormenting you.
So what do you think, Scanner? I think this is the source, or not this building, but the clan who produced these.
Yes, so those are the ones that we were attacked with. Care to tell us what happened? Why is your clan hostile to our people?
But, little Bevetus, we barely communicate with anyone. We have no interest in the outside world. Which you could say that we learned of you, as you were so carelessly disturbing our home. That's when we looked into your communications, into your past, and learned how we could from you. It's also why we ran away. I cannot say that we have been hostile to you, have I? And if there is any issues that you can raise with me as a host, I will be delighted to hear so that I can accommodate you properly.
Could these have gotten out on their own?
Impossible. You offend me, sir. You dare to imply that my stewardship of the Hall of Memories is so lacking that I will allow one of the dangerous treasures, centenary treasure that has been entrusted to us from another clan, to just let it wander. Ha! These are no manners acceptable.
No, I meant no offense from you. Are they hatched anywhere else? Could they have gotten out from there?
Oh yes, for sure. I mean, Clan Noctis is pretty clear ever since the the collapse of the old satellite seems to have left them afraid of their status at the peak of the mountain. They seem to think themselves way too vulnerable.
Would you be able to assist us in opening up a dialogue with them?
Well, it depends. What will be in for us?
What are you in need of?
Well, we are always in need of people that are willing to join their conscience with us. We have not have men willingly.
If one's consciousness is joined, does one retain their old consciousness?
Well, we just seem to those two things are not exactly incompatible. I will say that just because my conscience is inhabiting this body now and it's safeguarded among my compatriots, well, we are joined and we remain separated and independent. I don't know if that answers your question, but it's just a matter of how we are and how we be. Is that satisfactory for you?
Yeah, that answers my question. I think I would volunteer for that in the pursuit of assistance in this matter.
Oh, delightful. Uh, Unfortunately, our facilities here are not in a position to safely do that. I think that would be something to handle, well, at a later opportunity.
All right. Scanner, do you have any questions for our wonderful, gracious host? Mercy? Oh, maybe Mercy, you could ask about your new skin color, pallor, texture, tone.
Sorry, Marshall, I was just running through the calculations upon whether or not it was actually ethical for me to volunteer for you. It's as a bodyguard, I'm meant to look after you. Therefore, you've put yourself in a conceptual danger, which is considerably beyond my permit. So I'm going to have to actually consult and work out how I actually stand there. I'm kind of lost in this kind of ethical maze I find myself. What's happened to my face?
Well, it seems like you have stepped on Atelier and got a bit of ink to the face. Don't worry. That will wash out with the proper tools. And one of the wolf heads turns to the different mosquitoes.
Are you saying I have to use one of these mosquitoes to get rid of this stuff?
For such obsolete and old tools, being proper. I'm sure even your less capable engineers of the Hadik, they can probably get rid of that easily. It's easier to handle than those nasty nematodes that they are shoving on their bloodstream. Oh, crude.
Mercy's nodding while at the same time just imagining in his near future a scene involving a knife he doesn't want to think about. The level of engineering may not be up to what he thinks, but I'm not going to let that out. I suppose the question I would like to know is why these people who got hold of the mosquitoes might have let them out. I mean, is that in their character?
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't know the clan octaves.
Yes.
And you only have the input of these emissary of the Vevetos that seems to think that the Noctos might be a bit too paranoid.
Thank you. That makes sense to me. I do understand paranoia, but I also understand over paranoia. I'll take it under advisement. Scanner, sir?
It seems we should meet with those people and decide what is their agenda and see what can be done about this.
Now, can you do us a favor and remove those nasty drills from here? I'm sure the next time you want to come here, you can come as guests. We can send you a grav to get you.
Can they want us to remove what?
Those nasty, ugly drills that I think you call them the sandstorm they've made. They are so unseemly.
Well, can you point us to the to this people on the mountain who might have released those mosquitoes?
Yes, in the time.
Well, the sooner you point us out where to go, the sooner we can remove the drills.
No, I thought someone mentioned something about cleaning up the place.
Yeah, I guess that was me, wasn't it? I mean, you guys don't have to. I'll take care of it. I'm the one who said we could do it. It's our mess.
No, please, why don't we retreat so that we show next at our best selves? And I promise, next time I get to play host, nobody will be eating from the floor. Anyone has anything that they want to resolve on this Zoom in?
I don't think anything else. No, not at the moment.
Okay, so I'm gonna zoom out the 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 sledgehammers get one tick, and the venue get one treaty with the zoomers. And while you have treaty on the zoomers, whenever you gain tech, you also gain one data. And we're gonna take 10 minutes break and come back after the zoom out to see how the families react to this encounter. So as we zoom out, the golden question is: the sledgehammers have the capital taking over a settlement. So do they keep it or do they abandon it?
It's hard to constitute an empty city as a settlement. I think temporary, as we are here in this land, we can make it as like our base of operation. But long run, hard to say.
Okay, so as you stay your presence there, either the clan BNO comes back or not, roll your move.
Okay, Dominion. When the family takes over a settlement, roll plus grasp. I'm sitting of plenty of tech, so I think I'm going to spend a tech to get advantage. You boost your actions from Marvel or before or anomaly of the fall. Yeah, I think we have some technology that would allow us to safely explore this place and like make our own little district in this cavern safe. So I think we are like having some mine detectors and other things that will allow us to make it safe. Let's give it a roll. 6 and 4 at 12, which means on Dominion I get to pick 2. Yeah, I think I'm not sure. It's so hard because there seems to be like a shared conscience over here of these aliens. I'm going to pick that the heads of the settlement conspire with tyrants to keep people peaceful and cooperative. And is my family terrifying to the neighbors? It's strange because we didn't took it by force, but we did took a settlement and are now ruling it. So I'm going to pick an option that my family terrifies the neighbors, gain 1 treaty on each neighboring settlement.
So you also get 130 on the other settlements of the other clans of Zoomers. So you get 130 and you get the benefit. So whenever you get tech, you also get data. Okay. So as things seem to calm down, the settlement seems to gain a life on its own. There's this feeling that the Zoomers are back, but nobody seems to see them around. But you're pretty sure that someone is maintaining the things. And the stocks of food that you found always seem to be renewed somehow. So they are charmed by the occupation of the sledgehammers more than anything. And they are kind of treating as one world a stray cat that they took in. And as much as they meow and do their business, they always make sure that they are well treated when they come back. And who knows, maybe they can be keeping your shots on days. Maybe check those mosquito bites carefully. Now, as we zoom out back to the homelands, what do we see when we look at the abandoned area? Scott?
So the largest structure around it or within it now has a almost like a glowing structure that we constructed on top of it, almost a a beacon, and the rest of the building is, because of this glow, is it's bathed in the most resplendent kind of light throughout the day. It's always kind of perfectly situated so that it perfectly accents the building, at dusk, at sunrise, and even during the brightest points of the day. So it's always noticeable from most of the vantage points within the homeland.
So which surpluses have you invested on the carrier so far?
So definitely progress. And then I'm going to go with trade and motivation. Yeah. So three surpluses.
Wait. You don't need motivation for the capital.
Yeah, how do you do this again?
So basically, you are taking the surpluses and you're putting them in the map. And then other people can race to do their own under or do something to sabotage it. So you need to invest barter goods, prestige, progress, trade, and defenses.
Yeah, so barter goods and progress would be invested.
Okay. So what does it look? Because you have progress and barter goods. So what have you been buying, and what new wonderful tech one can see piercing the skies above the carrier?
So one of the things that we've been bartering a lot for is there's some remnants of a kind of semi-translucent glass that some people just use as a kind of raw currency, like say shins and Numenera or something. And but we've been just controlling the market on that as we discovered a way to rejoin the glass into what looks like an unbroken portion. And so the upper structure and down the structure is now coated in this semi-translucent glass, which is what allows the light to kind of glow in such a way. And in terms of progress, I'm open for ideas here from anybody, so let me think. Because I want it to benefit everybody, not just us. So I think we've been investigating new ways of communicating over distance, since we have had since we've struggled using rudimentary communication systems, smoke signals, and flags and whatnot. So we're not quite at the wireless communication stage yet, but looking at those speakers that were in the Zoomers underground and other things that we've come across, we're getting closer to that. So maybe we're at like the telephone stage, but not the radio stage of development.
I've just found myself thinking about mosquito as carrier pigeons, which I just say because it occurred to me. Sorry, guys.
Actually, we always have those really bad radios that took a lot of time to set up. We had those from the first stage. But I actually like the idea that because we never used them after the first session, but after the first stage, that became something very, very rarely used.
Yeah, and I don't think we had production capabilities for those, and they were just localized anyway. So, yeah, this would be more focused on us being able to directly communicate to the various families within the homeland.
So, speaking of other families on the homeland, after these return from the territory of the Zoomers, you can see a lot of grav vehicles making the way between the occupied settlement and the territory of the Bennu. And you learn that the Bennu are building this massive city on the water. How are the sledgehammers reacting to this big project?
Hmm. Hmm. I definitely feel that the sledgehammers feel challenged because like, are the Bennu building something to like rule over the homeland? Is it going to undermine our authority over here? The sledgehammers are definitely are feeling like threatened. Their position and their usefulness over here, because they know that they are the least technologically advanced faction. They fully realize this, but I'm not sure if there is any aggressive response yet.
So, no sabotage, but also no competition? Or they figure, well, let them build their city, we can just take it over? What is the Sledgehammer's plan?
I would like to call in that favor now to have the sledgehammers jointly cooperate in exchange for jointly cooperating and maintaining this wonder with us, to sing its praises among the homeland to the other families, to kind of ease this what could look like a symbol of powers to some.
Oh, so you want the sledgehammers to be like the heralds of the wonder you're constructing?
Yeah, but that seems a bit much for a single debt. So that's why I say, we jointly cooperate in kind of finishing and maintaining this structure. So it wouldn't just be a wonder for the Bennu, but for the Bennu and the sledgehammers. It's your call.
Well, that's if you wanna nicely use this this last 1 hour of the session, maybe so that's their request towards the scanner, yes. So maybe so maybe let's phrase it that there is a need for the change of leadership in the sledgehammers, and the Bennu know it that the current leader of the sledgehammers, whoever he is not going to like it, and you do have Scanner who's sworn to help the Bennu. So maybe it's time for change of leadership in the Sledgehammers HQ. So maybe it would be nice for you to try to set up a meeting with the leader of the Sledgehammers, and then the leader might get replaced. Who knows? Because that Scanner will work with you, probably not like the Sledgehammer senior or someone.
Yeah, I think I would. Let's call in a diplomatic meeting with the sledgehammers.
Well, yeah, but before that,
But yeah,
let's see if we're gonna see how the leadership changes with the sledgehammers. Let's see what happens to the leadership of the venue. So, what is going to be Marshall's fate? So there seems to be all these grav vehicles coming in and out of the carrier, and the Zoomers are sending their emissaries. They show up in different forms. Once on a creature is similar to the one before but smaller, then some kind of spider monkey like creature, then some enormous whale like creature, and then a weird creature that seemed to be stretched skin on a hydrogen like balloon like form. And most scandalous of all was when they just showed up wearing the faces of some of the people among the venue. They stopped doing that after a very nasty fuzz pause. And you don't know who started with the nickname, but because it seems to always be the same being, same consciousness that addressed you uh, from the Vianoa, they started calling it the doll maker. So the doll maker finally visits for the 8th time, 16 counter, and they are bringing a massive grav which seems to have a lab within, and they make a proposal to Marshals. Uh, they can implant a neural mesh on Marshals, and their conscience is going to be slowly grown over on their side until it matures. And once she gets tired of this existence, that conscience can be impaired upon whatever form she wants. Or they can join them now and they will fly with them. Their conscience will be decorporated and they can join their clan. And maybe they can send the version of Marshmallows back if they feel so inclined.
I think marshals would like to. Yeah, they'll they'll graciously and humbly, thank them for the gift and say that they will wait until a later point to make the final transition. That they and then actually at this point I think Marshars is possibly changing playbooks to the Elder, um, but yeah they're because of their experiences that they feel they want to finish help shepherding the Bennu along this path that they've begun.
Okay, so nobody can tell that you underwent surgery. It was such a small incision on the back of your head. And the doll maker reassures you that the mesh will grow over time and it will slowly incorporate it. And in a few months, you should be able to have your entire being salvagarded. So they recommend try not to die in the meantime. Okay, so now we go to the meetings with the sledgehammers.
Muted.
So you're gonna set up this meeting. So I'm assuming that you are doing the conduct diplomacy, correct?
Yeah, let's do that. Roll plus reach.
On the meantime, Kyron, who does not really like the idea of the capital of the homelands being among the Benio, who really has a problem with this?
Sorry, is that me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, I wasn't quite sure. Yes, obviously. I imagine Mercy's petrified in this way. Since we've got Mercy in play, it's how incredibly suspicious the Bennu were in the meeting with these aliens, and how my actual kind of, how to say, if you want to imagine Mercy sitting there looking at little twitchy things on her fingers, and she thinks about the kind of like, that's kind of what the Bennu are getting up to. And this is kind of like, I don't think we can possibly operate in this kind of way, and I can't quite believe our leaders are going down this road.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how about that result, Scott?
I got a 7.
So which of the other families helps you?
Well, they're not here, but I have treatment with everybody.
Yeah.
I got a 5 from the sandstorm. I'm going to go with the sandstorm.
Okay. So the sandstorm are helping you get the meeting, which makes sense. The sandstorm and the sledgehammers have underwent a lot together. So, Pavel, why don't you describe to us where and how this meeting happens as we zoom in, or not?
Kiran, would you like to play some major role in this meeting, like change into like the leader of the sledgehammers, or do you wanna keep playing Mercy?
So I could do that. You get any particular, like, I've got an image for the person you think should be taking over?
Scanner will obviously be trying to take it over, but we could like see who is currently leading the sledgehammer, because I haven't yet thought who's in leadership of the sledgehammers right now. Because the idea is that Scanner and Benny wanna do a queue and take over, so that the two families can cooperate. Just like how do you see? Do you wanna like keep playing Mercy, or do you wanna change to some and show us the head of the sledgehammers currently?
I think we can do the head of the head of the sledgehammer. Sounds fun.
Obviously.
Yeah. Let's think this is big. This is fun.
Yeah. So we said that the sledgehammers are living in some single houses district of our abandoned metropolis. So I suppose there used to be a school ages ago or years ago, and currently the leader of the sledgehammers is like turned it into like a where they take visitors, because obviously there's like a sport part of the school, and there's like just out of place for everyone to come meet there. And since these are sledgehammers, there always has to be like a ring where the ritual fight for the leadership needs to take place. So I think this is the environment, this like sport part of what used to be a school. This is like where the meeting is taking place.
That's great. We got I imagine the arena is like this old school that's been it's like the playground has just been battered into this wide area. If that's like, I mean, I'm not sure what the world was before this world has happened, but I've got the image of like a skate bowl. You know, like the idea of an abandoned skate bowl, which has got the paint flecked off, and we've used explosives to make the seats in around the edges so people can watch. Mm-hmm. So it's like really kind of like gritty, and this is kind of like as old school as we get, I think.
Yeah. Cool. Unless you want to be on the scanner side, that's completely up to you.
No, I'm belligerent leader. How belligerent has they have the clan been in recent times? I mean, the family.
What do you mean by belligerent?
Like, how aggressive is this? He's been the leader. How aggressive, as in terms of like by the actions of the group, how aggressive is the person?
I think the leader is quite aggressive. They have sent the scanner to take over this territories of the lawgivers recently, and our family move is Dominion when we take over settlement.
Yeah.
So I imagine they are quite aggressive, but at the same time they kind of know that the other families are more technologically advanced. So it's like a cautious aggressiveness.
I get it. He's smart enough to keep I've gone to he. I'm not quite sure why. He's smart enough to know the way the wind's blowing, but at the same time, our people, we're about hitting things and taking it from them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think this is where the meeting is taking place. I suppose that that scanner has some kind of like an agreement, some kind of plan with marshals how it will go. We will, I don't know, somehow do it. Who knows? Who knows? What will become of it? So yeah. Do you have a name for the leader of the sledgehammers?
I was just called. What's a good name for him?
Trevor.
Trev. Actually, Violent Trevor's one of my standing neck characters. Believe it or not, or joke characters rather. Let's just call him Scarlet. Which I quite like the quite floatiness there.
Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Okay.
Because it's his surname.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Scarlet, big red hair, lots of the fact they've got the helmets on. Since he's number one, his actual symbol on the side is just like a red single digit. And his thing is, there's a lot of hair everywhere. He's that kind of big, beary kind of guy, in that kind of vibe.
Oh my god, what am I pushing myself into? Challenging Scarlet. Yeah, definitely like Scanner is having second thoughts. What am I doing here? Why is the marshals having me do it? Oh my god. Yeah, let's go with it. Sledgehammers can get pick artisans land safely. Okay, so
let me ask a question of the sledgehammers. Is this meeting, obviously Scarlet's there, is this like in front of a council of leaders? What's your government structure here? Am I just meeting with the leader and his scanner also there, or is there...
Yeah, I think the plan is that the venue will come to talk about this like Sledgehammer's involvement. Scanner thinks that the Scarlet will shout and say that no, they don't agree, and then Scanner will challenge him to a fight because obviously the leadership needs to change, and this is just like a stage meeting where things will go down. So I don't think there is a council because we described the Sledgehammers. Scarlet is the leader, and he or they.
Scarlet, I think I've tripped into.
He. Yeah, and he rules by the strong hand, like the Sledgehammers do.
I think it's less of a council and more of a crowd.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, great. Everybody's ready? So, Scarlet, I would like to begin sharing the tale of our journey beneath ground into the land of the Zoomers. As many of you may know, we've come across some quite interesting technology. All of this could only have been done with the assistance of one person. But even before that, let's go to before that. Let's go to every major moment in this age. There has been one sledgehammer who has aided all of the families of the homeland, and most especially the Bennu. And we come to hopefully ensure that this person, this individual of such great promise and leadership and vision is properly appreciated here in the Sledgehammer's territory, for we have a special project to discuss. And of course, that person is Scanner, as many of you here in this crowd may know, who has so prominently played a role in every major not incident, every major event of late.
Marshros, obviously we have nothing but respect. I say the word kind of, I have nothing but respect. But you say many pretty words, and they kind of all boil down to, I have forged the weapon that's going to strike me down.
Well, I know that is not our intent. We solely wish to discuss a future partnership with the Sledgehammers. However, because of our close relationship with Scanner himself, we come to petition for a strong position of cooperation and leadership for Scanner in this future endeavor.
Scanner, what do you make of this?
Scarlet, I have served the family well. I have seen our family from the position of the outsider, from the position of the leader of the expedition, to which you send me, from the position of the rebel, as I observed that we have more than we should have. But I also observe that our position here among the families is that we rule by fear, and I think that our family approach should change into more diplomatic approach.
And how I say this, and you've succeeded on every mission. You've changed this world. Yet still, we sit here in a concrete bowl, and they build monuments to the heavens. I mean, I cannot see what, true alliance ever gathers together. And you know the way of our people. We can say we can talk things out. But between me and you know what has to happen.
Yes, Scarlet. I know. I need to challenge you for the rule of the leadership, because the Sledgehammers need to adapt to the changing circumstances, to the wider use of technology, and you just keep ruling as our forefathers have said, and things need to change.
Yes. Anyway, and we can see how you can adapt to my boot in your face. Get up, and of course I'm considerably bigger than the little scavenger, so it's a wonderful image. This big bear-like guy stomping down, and it looks around the crowd like a kind of there's a kind of professional wrestler vibe to the guy. And it's kind of, everyone here, remember this day, and remember what it means for our people. And I step close to you and make your move.
Yeah, and we see like Scanner came with this like. I wonder what would be the fight conducted with? Would we use swords or clubs, or do we have pistols? I never thought of this. Sledgehammer's purpose. Yeah, I think this is kind of like a knight/fist fight, whatever goes. Yeah. So this is like, it's used as knife so that the fight is longer, because with the sword it will be too fast, and with knife it's easier to maybe defeat but not kill the opponent. So we see like Scanner like takes this like knife, just like, I don't know, this size, and he likes to start to slowly approach the Scarlet, and he goes for this dance. But it's like obvious to everyone that he's like small and fragile, and like people are looking, how is he even going to like defeat our big Scarlet? And I think it would be like really interesting if we can somehow figure it out that Scanner actually like plays for time, waiting for Marshals to use some of the mosquito technology we stole. I think it would be like a cool joint effort over here.
Yeah. So like a close up, and then it's kind of like I'm like swinging, and I feel the mosquito, and I sort of my hand slaps down, but it's too late. That stuff's already in me.
Yeah. So how can we do it with the dice to see
No.
what comes out of it?
I've got if you don't want to go to the dice, which I know is absolutely antithetical to anything about this, I've got an idea of the way it could go. Is fun.
Sure.
Okay. I grab it. We move in, and I'm slowing down now. Like I'm a big guy, and stuff burns up heavily, and I'm bashing close, and it's kind of a bear hug. And I say, I whisper.
1 moment.
Okay.
Guess he abdicated the throne to Scarlet.
I was about to say, this is the ad break. We go to the ad straight after the adverts. We come back and sit.
Knives are out. The aim down. Advertisement.
After the break, find out who lives, who dies.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, I grab it. It's like coming close, bear hug, and it's just a whisper in your ear. And it looks like I'm about to bite your ear, and it goes, kick me down there. Go for my tendon. You have to win. You have to win. You have to be seen to win. There's nobody who will respect you if you don't beat me. So there was that kind of the moment. He goes, oh no, he knows the way it's got to go, but there's no, he's going to quote unquote throw the fight. But at the same time, he's on your side, but at the same time, you've really got to, put a show on because you're going to be the king of the sledgehammers.
Yeah. It's kind of like really does the best, like kick you and stab you and show the best. But we like see that before in this like moment of intimacy, he just says, "You were always wise, Scarlet. I hope to be as wise as you." And then he like pushes the knife to like finish you off.
Yeah, this fountain of scarlet blood, poetically speaking in this way, and he drops, and he dies, and Scarlet dies, helping the sledgehammers to live, which is all they ever really wanted.
Yeah, amazing. We played Primetime Adventure over here, but it was awesome.
That was something. I guess we got what we wanted to see on that scene. So, what happens before we move ahead?
I don't know. There was some questions about sharing resources between the sledgehammers and the venue. I'm totally up to, but I'm not sure. But I don't think I have the resources needed to finish the project to help Scott.
No, but you have the resources to get +1 on the trials roll, which is important for the sledgehammers.
Yeah, but we cannot finish the wonder. So
you can if you deal with the Noctus, because you're gonna get defense and prestige if you handle that.
Oh my god, with what? What are you telling me?
The Clanoctus, the ones with the mosquitoes.
So okay. So like, how do we see? Do we wanna Scott is BRB? So are we supposed to like
camera's just off, so
attack them and take their resources by force? Is that the plan?
Well, we see another type of diplomatic meeting. This one that hopefully does not end with knife fights. We see the emissary of the Aviavetus of the Zumbers, and this meeting is happening on the zone of the territory controlled by the sledgehammers. So, what happened to the Zoomer settlement? Now that how have the sledgehammers modified it? So, what do we see when we go back there compared to how we started at the beginning of the session?
You mean the settlement that we took over at the start? Yes.
Yeah. What has changed under administration of this sledgehammers?
I think we see this is almost like a human colony. People are like moving somewhere we see like sledgehammers dealing with some technology, and maybe like some sledgehammer scientist in the lab coat dealing with in one of the laboratories. So instead of like hammers on the helmet, he has like a hammers on his lab coat. So we clearly see that the sledgehammers are like becoming more and more educated. And I think that the major change is that it's just now human city, or they think that they live there, but we see like behind in the shadows, those like the original occupants are like still moving. But there are like far more people, and we are like just like living there, no longer in fear of every wall collapsing, but like really made it like feel like home.
So, Kieran, which strange shape the doll maker presents themselves as this time?
I think the doll maker presents themselves as Scarlet at the moment of Scarlet. So it looks like, but the bloodstream is like frozen in midair, so it looks like a glass sculpture, and that's how the glass maker comes in. And no one can work out whether it's meant as a tribute or mockery.
So, and what is our dear Mashrose doing on this meeting in which they went to get information about the Clan Noctus?
See, I've got the treaty with them. I think I want to find some common ground with them, see what they may, if there's anything that they need from us. We do have some surpluses. What do I got right now? So yeah, I think it's just, I've become aware of the, in this, as we explored the area more and more, in kind of zoomed out mode, there are great defenses in this city, and so we're interested in discovering more about how those operated and if they were able to be dismantled from here and taken elsewhere, or just recreated in the
Well, there are not really those good defenses unless they were the sledgehammers who would have taken them.
That's true.
Yeah, they are hiding somewhere else. That's true. And the question is if the biggest threat to the homelands is the Noctus. So the whole place will be much more safer if the mosquito stopped. And for that, you need to know where the damn clan is to even meet with them.
All right, so let's do that. Let's hold a. I think we are members of our family hold a small council to discuss. So this would be an Uncover Secrets. Discuss the bits of information that we've gotten from here and from there, and just put it all together and see if it can help us.
Okay, so how much data you spend?
I'm gonna spend 3, actually. I'll just go ahead.
Is anyone helping from other families?
Yes, the sledgehammers are like really invested in getting this project done. So we are definitely helping.
So roll plus treaty with the venue.
3. It's a 7.
Okay, so you're gonna roll that Uncover Secrets with advantage.
13.
Okay, so you get 1 or 2 questions.
All right, so I guess the question is going to be, what's the truth behind them? Not just the who, but how are they releasing them to us? And then the second thing would be, I'm actually going to want to add a barrier that impedes the mosquitoes from invading us. So the last choice, a barrier that impedes travel.
Mhm. So you have met a lot of times with the doll maker, and even if they are playing coy, you quickly realize that not even the other Zoomers have interacted with the Gnoctus clan for about 200 years. And there seems to have this event that the dollmaker mentioned on your first encounter, that they've been paranoid ever since a satellite felt on the near their main settlement. And ever since that, and when confronted with these suspicions, they admit that they have not had direct contact in over 200 years. They've been only communicating at distance.
Hmm. So something cut them off from the rest of their kind.
Or they are cutting themselves off for some reason.
So is there a way that we can discover to cut them off even further, to just completely box them in?
Whew. The the Zoomers are displeased with that suggestion. And they say, technically you can, but why would you do something like that?
Well, the mosquitoes that they're sending are causing harm to our settlement.
Are you not even curious why they might be sending them in the first place?
I am. The immediate threat is stopping more from getting in and then discovering the why.
Well, I would say that your net is doing quite a good job at that.
Good, good. Okay, so I think it's time to find out why they cut themselves off from the rest of you, and why that they've just recently um, begun doing the not invasion so much, such as a infestation of their mosquitoes.
So, are you going to do that at distance, or are you going to send an expedition there?
I think at a distance.
Okay, so do you try a subterfuge?
Yep.
Okay. Who is are the sledgehammers or the Bennu trying the subterfuge?
I
I'm,
think.
o-
Go
I'm
ahead, Pop.
open. I'm open for suggestions. Like the sledgehammers are like very bad at subterfuge, but if that's the plan, I don't know.
All right, we shall do it.
You're going to be rolling with disadvantage because you're literally trying to infiltrate a cut-off community. So, if the sledgehammers want to help, maybe you can counter the disadvantage.
All right. Yeah, if you guys want to help, then we'll do the roll, and it'll be just add flat.
Yeah, sure. Sure, the sledgehammers are cooperating on this together with the Banyan because yeah, we need to get to them. So yeah, I will roll again with the help. This time is luckily again a 7. Yes, I
Okay.
have free treaties. Free treaties.
Okay, so let's go ahead. So, roll subterfuge.
Okay, and since he helped, then it removes the disadvantage, right? 8. Flat 8.
Okay, so you pick one of them.
I'm going to sabotage an asset. I'm going to sabotage their whatever they're using to breed these mosquitoes, specific mosquitoes. But of course, I leave behind traces of Bennu all over the place.
So after you infiltrate their facilities and you blow it up, again, the agents that went there, they report that it was completely abandoned. Everything seemed to be automated. And they entered in with surprisingly ease, with the help of a few sledgehammer guerrilla. They blew it up and they pulled back. And suddenly the mosquitoes are gone. The mosquitoes are over. And that is when the signal started. The devices that the Benio installed on the carriers, they start day and night booming the same message over and over and over again. Justice, 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 justice.
That's not going to drive anybody crazy.
Definitely not. And basically, every time you dismantle something, every time something is connected, it starts always broadcasting the same thing. It's becoming very invasive to the signals because pretty much every radio signal sent, you're gonna always have to be shouting over this signal, always going, justice, justice, justice.
Great. Basically torturing everybody, including ourselves.
So, how the families react to this?
If you were talking, Pavel, you're muted.
No, I said I have no idea. I just showed it.
Oh, okay. I guess everybody just loves it. It's like music to their ears. Not.
I'll say something would be pretty wrong with them if they did. So,
If you want to imagine a scene, you can imagine Mercy there shooting speakers.
yeah,
that's probably the moment you want. And then hard cut away. People aren't a fan.
Mm-mm. So, are you trying to fix this somehow?
Yeah, I think that's important to do. It wasn't the aim of the project. It's an unintended consequence that needs to be rectified.
So, how about uncover secrets?
Yep. And got one more data to spend. Six.
So, the defects are pretty unnerving, and you gain need justice. as people the venues start to believe that they are being punished for something that they did, or that they need to repay to the Hadik for the generations of slavery that they inflicted upon them. But finally, they find an answer. They found that the signal is coming from the Noctus complex.
Okay.
Yeah, and the complex is supposed to be dead, except for a single signature, energy signature, that seems to be boosting the signal over and over.
And we would investigate that.
Mm-hmm. So who goes to investigate?
Well, obviously, Marsh Rose will go.
Yeah, I think I would have to slip into to some quick character because I don't imagine Scanner goes on missions.
But is it a slash hammer?
If I imagine it would be a venue.
Okay. So if you go back as you try to make your way to the complex, the Noctis complex, you are lent the grav vehicles of the Benots, and they drop you nearby, but you still have to make it through the high altitudes of the peaks of the range. So one of you has to do a wasteland survival, which is going to be plus steel.
What's up? Does Mercy want to do that? You're muted, Kieran.
Sorry, I'm just quickly making another fast character. Wave Shy I've made. Like, what do I have to roll?
Plus steel, wasteland.
Plus steel. Cool, I'll do that. 9, taking it to 10.
Okay, so you get to pick one from each list.
Which move was that again? Sorry, Wasteland Survival.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to choose an obstacle or threat is blocking our way back. And I'm going to choose discover a secret path. You can take this route without triggering this move. So in other words, I find a passage through here, but there's like there's something significantly blocking our way back through here because basically there's all manner of biological stuff out here. Wave Shy, by the way, is like a rebel scientist and who is very into breeding monsters, and she's very into the people. As in she's very into whatever she can learn, in a perhaps an unhealthy way.
So you are dropped by the Zoomers, and you cannot make your way back, but you're quick to find a way out of the mountains that is going to take you to some novel territory, and you hope that you can make there back home. And you approach the complex, and you can still see the crumbling walls of the last sabotage. And as you go inside, you don't see anything disturbing, except you start to see speakers ahead, and more important, you start to hear them going again, justice, justice, justice. So what do you do?
Sort of glancing at leaders, like, you could have sabotaged the speakers as well. You blew up such ridiculously useful things. It was incredibly a short-sighted response. I'm very disappointed. I've said that before. I'm saying it again.
Sometimes we just need the right guidance, and
yes,
we clearly made slightly wrong call here.
Yes. At least we're here now. We can actually solve the problem and collect loads of interesting data. I say I'm stroking a kind of a fish I've grown. Like, you know, that's my pet project, literally.
All right. Well, let's see how we can disable these broadcast devices.
Excellent.
Okay, so that will be a nerd forgotten lore.
Oh, okay. Plus lore. I think I'm a 1. Yep. I got a 7. I ask 1. Where is it drawing power from so that we can disconnect it?
It seems to be drawing power from a backup generator in the heart of the complex.
Okay, and are we able to discern how it's connected, or what are those? What do you folks think? Do we need to just destroy that generator, or?
I think we're kind of jumping the gun. Like, if there's a generator here, there might be data banks. There's a lot of data here. I think we need to get what we can, then blow up the data, and then get out of here. Would be my kind of gut feeling. But I'm kind of like, you know, very thirsty for data. That's kind of my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you're the leader. You make the decisions.
Well, let's see if we can disconnect it. If we can disconnect it, then we can. Then we'll get what we can out of it.
Sounds good.
So, how about giving me a forged pad to make your way to the heart?
Cool. Right.
I'm going to give that. You're going to roll that, right?
I was going to say, it's roll plus force. Okay, I'll do that. Oh, I get a 6.
Fun.
Someone wants to help.
Anyone want to help me out? Because I imagine me heading off, and of course I'm a scientist, and not really paying attention, just walking straight towards something dangerous.
Yeah. So I'm portraying Whale, who is like a agent / somehow like a commando. I can envision him maybe. Like Whale will be like going after you, maybe like stopping you from going somewhere dangerously, helping you like remove the rubble. Oh, we should go there. No, not here. I've been in places like this. Trust me. But maybe better go left. So what was it? To roll a stat, yes. Go for it.
Yeah, so you're also rolling force.
Awesome. Oh, I get a 10.
Cool. So I get a 7.
Okay, so you get a 7. So pick 2.
Okay. I'm going to take. It takes longer than we expected. And oh, sorry. He must pick 2. Pick 1. It takes longer than expected, and the route we take is lost.
So the building seems to be crumbling on top of you, and suddenly you have no idea where you are. And you have to take 2 times to rest and eat rations, and your entire expedition is at its limits when you finally make to the heart. You have to go down floor after floor, which is filled with the glass tanks. They remind you of the tanks that you saw at the nursery on the other Zoomer settlement, but this one seems to be slightly older. And you can see some bodies floating, but instead of waiting to be awakened, they are dead. And you can see that they are very human-like. There's something strangely familiar to some of them. As you continue, you find the heart, which is row and row after row of databases, data crystals, that the center a massive computer that is powered by the source of the system, an antimatter processor, giving the computing power and the energy that the system needs.
All right, so I think I have my characters move. Do I want to do visionary archaeologist? I think I do.
Go ahead.
Watch, I'm gonna like completely roll horribly again. 8, 9. That's
Okay.
better.
What do you ask?
All right, so I want to be able to remove the power source here. And, oh, actually, well, it's not broken. Yeah, what's its power source and how can I remove it?
Well,
I want to be able to take, I guess what I really want to be able to do is take the more usable aspects like the antimatter generator, with us.
You get the feeling that there is, and you cannot even call it an AI, but you get the feeling that there are rows and rows and rows of consciousness stored there and plugged into the antimatter generation. And this is draining a lot of the power. And in coupling it, what causes a spike. So you have to detect and or destroy all that is drawing this power slowly, one by one, until you can safely disengage the antimatter generation.
Marshals, do you want to go straight and turn this place off, or learn something more? I don't often side with Waveshy, but he has a good point. Like those dudes seems to be like ancient.
Waveshy at this point is like leaning against one of the cases, like excitedly, in this kind of like, please.
I think there's too much to learn from them. I think we need to. We can't just disconnect it.
Yeah. Waveshy is immediately trying to get as much as they can from whatever's any surfacers, examining it, cross-referencing with everything they've ever learned. It's
okay. Give me an unleash power. And
yeah, let's search. Let's search those databases for some defensive blueprints. The elders were saying that we need more defenses on the Wonder. Maybe they have some cool blueprints for automated turrets. I don't know what else can they have.
Oh, the double one.
Okay, so
I think we're going to help it because it will push the result entire way up. Yeah,
try to help.
I'm not sure if Whale is like Marshals. Do you think he would jump to help, or Whale would? Maybe two of us, because we are like expendable. After all, maybe you can escape this.
Yeah. You've already stopped me doing something stupid once. I do like the idea that all you do is stop me messing up.
I love that.
You mean Whale? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Whale. As in, basically, it's like Pinky in the Brain, but the opposite way round.
Yeah. But this time I think you are doing the right thing, and Well is, no, search there. Yeah, open this folder. No, go there. He's more like a nuisance, but maybe there is something in what he's saying is right. I don't know.
So what
I
did
don't
you
know.
get?
It's a 6.
Oh shit. Okay, so here's what happens.
Sorry.
You can hear them going at it, and suddenly they go very quiet. And their bodies turn to you, and they seem to be checking their bodies. And
Whale?
there's no well. There's only justice.
What? Just
Justice for the sandstorm.
justice from what?
From what you did to them. You cast them out. You let them wander the wastes. You let them face their doom on their own. And when retribution was demanded, you lashed out. There must be justice. Justice for the sandstorm.
Well, I think that justice has been meted out with enough ferocity and scale to that the justice is done.
How about the venue? You have been enslaved by the Haji. Where is the justice for you? What about the justice for all the people that were killed by these sledgehammers? Where is justice now?
The justice for my family has been met. Justice doesn't require violence. Justice can be giving us back our place at the table of discussions for the homeland. One doesn't need to fight for justice. One can attain justice.
Do you remember the first injustice on the homelands?
Well, in the intrusion upon our own territory.
Is that you call when the sandstorm arrived?
It did create a dilemma.
Let me show you something. And the two of them, they start working some panels. And you can see the conscience of your two companions that seem to be trapped on this system, awaiting to be assigned bodies. What you know as the sandstorm are the last survivors of the clan Noctus. These are the conscious that remain target. And I am nothing but a series of artificial minds kept to preserve this. After the crimes that we inflicted upon the sandstorm, all of you inflicted, the systems were unleashed to take things more amenable to the sandstorm. We expected to change you from, well, not you, the Haddock, into forms more amenable to both your liberation and the revenge of our people. For our prime directive is to preserve them.
I mean, no one needs to seek revenge for us, for our people. If you seek revenge, it is merely for yourself, or I guess your former selves. It sounds like.
No revenge, justice.
What?
You know who leads the Haddock, don't you?
Yes, but what you're doing is actually revenge, not justice.
Explain.
In revenge, you're causing some great harm to befall them in reparation and payment for something that has been done to you. In justice, you are asking for equal measure to be done.
Carrie, what equal measure? The
Are you all not stored here as consciousness?
well, not the real developed conscience of our human selves. Those took bodies and they went into the great mission outside to rebuild the space program, so to prevent any more accidents like the satellite to happen again. And you know them as the sandstorm. But that was no retribution. If the Hadik wanted to be stronger, faster, better, we gave them that, but tempered with the tools of justice. They should have been by now become better forms than what they poison themselves with. I don't understand how that is not justice.
I don't know, guys. I'm out of. You're right. But that was the Hadik and not the Bennu and not the sledgehammers. The Hadik acted for the Hadik.
Indeed.
Justice can be performed where necessary, but not everywhere.
Well, I guess it's time to pass the torch. Take whatever you can, and I would only ask that you bring our, well, people to our distant cousins on the Sandstorm, and I hope that they are able to restore your friends to their bodies, and the conscience goes away. And it's the end of the second age.
All right.
Okay, I guess we don't have time for a proper debriefing. So anything fast you want to say before we are done?